So I'm Julie Fitzpatrick, and actually I am an award-winning therapist and coach, and the founder of Milliside Therapy and Coaching. And I primarily work with business owners and professionals to help them uncover the power of their imagination so that they can be truly unstoppable and live their life with purpose and passion. So my whole branding really is about becoming unstoppable. I'm based in Stanford-le-Hope in Essex, but everything I can do online as well. So distance is not an issue. And what I don't do talking therapy. It's very different. I work with my clients who are suffering from stress, overwhelm, anxiety, all those normal psychological issues, but also with physical conditions as well, because we hold feelings and emotions in our bodies. And when we don't express them, that's when we can create, physical conditions in our body, like skin conditions, like arthritis, autoimmune diseases, all those kind of things. So when I work with my clients, I do it via hypnosis, which is a deep hypnotic state, and we go to the root cause of, whatever your issue is, for example, anxiety, and we go back into your timeline to when that first became an issue, and we identify the root cause of it and we eradicate it and then replace it with new empowering beliefs. And we can do so much work in just one package, which lasts for about a month, but you can get instant results from the session. And it's just like really, really powerful. And I love it. When you're finding a root cause and eradicating it, that element of it is gone forever. But what happens is when you sort of I always say to people, imagine you're an onion and you uncover that first layer and then you settle with that, but then you don't know what's underneath in that onion. So you might have to go and take another layer of it off. But what I do when I first do this, I do a free call with them to start with, and we go through and I get them to tick various issues on the form, like what symptoms have you got really? And if they've got quite a lot, I say to them, well, the reality is, although you've ticked, say, 15, doesn't mean you've got to have 15 sessions, but you might need 2 or 3. So that's when I help them decide really on what package they want, whether they need a short-term package that lasts a month, or whether we need to work together for 3 months or 6 months, or I do packages on the whole spectrum really. So it really depends on how many symptoms they're presenting with. But absolutely, if you get to say there's only about 4 or 5 real root causes actually, which is I'm not good enough, I didn't have my needs met, I'm unlovable, and I felt different. And mostly people will have those. So although they might have ticked loads of things, actually once you hit that root, you can tick a lot of them off. Because if you think about it, if you've got like your root core belief is I'm not good enough, well, of course you're going to be stressed and overwhelmed all the time, right? Because you're just not good enough. And if you're not good enough, you're going to lack confidence, right? Because why wouldn't you be able to do that? Because you're just not good enough. Procrastination and all that, it all comes down to that same root cause. So if you get that, then you're going to tick off quite a lot off your list. So, and that's what I love about it, because we're really talking to the subconscious mind, and we actually do talk to it as well. Because like sometimes you go, part of me thinks that I should do this, but my other part of me thinks I should do that. Well, it's the same with what happens. So our brain's only job is to protect us and keep us safe, right? So it will do whatever it needs to do. So if, for example, you go, oh my God, I'm just going to die if I have to go and do that presentation. Oh my God, my world's just going to end. So your brain will go, oh, I can't let her go and do that then, because it's my job to protect her. So what I'm going to do is on the morning of that presentation, I'll give her the most biggest headache she's ever had in her life. So she can't get out of bed. Then she can't go. Therefore, I saved her life. So what happens is our clever brain creates parts of us. So anxiety, lack of confidence, even physical conditions, your brain will create a part of you, and it will have a role, function, purpose, intention. So when I'm working with my clients, say they say, oh, I'm really suffering from anxiety, we'll go back and say to a time and a place when your anxiety first happened. And mostly, not always, but mostly it'd be when you're a child between 0 and 7, because, and this is a really frightening fact, that between the ages of 0 and 7 is when we create our belief system, but we don't have logic. Our brain's not developed enough by then. So that's when we create our core root beliefs. So you imagine that we're living our lives as adults, making decisions in our life, in our business, based on the belief we created maybe when we were 4 years of age. So once you understand what that belief is and change it, then that's all. It sounds easy, that's all. It is kind of easy, but then it changes the whole way of life. So by uncovering your root belief as to why you're lacking confidence, for example, once we've done that, you're free to fly, because now you are confident and it's embedded in you that you absolutely are confident. And you wake up every morning just being confident, and you just start saying yes to things, and you start doing things that you didn't even know that you wanted to do, which is what I've done quite a lot. And I kind of say yes to things, and then afterwards I'm like, what have I just said yes to? But it doesn't hit me now. I don't go, I don't know, I don't think I can do that. I just go, okay, I can do that. And it's so powerful. Funny enough, back in about 15 years ago, I did train as a counsellor. I did my 4 years of doing that. And that was on the back of taking redundancy from a job when I was nearly 40 then, actually, and I wanted to do good in job. So I thought, I'll train to be a counsellor. However, I knew I had to go back to work then, and then I was back in the corporate world where I was until December 2020. So I spent 35 years in the corporate world, but I did that counselling training, but never did it as a job, because I knew I couldn't live off the money of it. But I did it as a volunteer for quite a few years, until probably around about 2020. And I didn't know it then. It's only doing research now that I actually got hit with a perimenopause, and I couldn't cope with it anymore. And I was constantly stressed, overwhelmed, couldn't remember anything. The normal heart palpitations, couldn't remember people's names. And so at this point, I'm working up in London as a project manager. And in August 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, I got the curveball of losing my job, which at the time, from a nanosecond, I was devastated, but realizing that actually I didn't really like it much anyway. And at that point, that's when I decided that I'm going to start doing this again, because I knew I loved helping people and got those results. So then I started training on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, whilst I was working. And then I went on to their master program after that. And I'm loving it at this point, because I'm really understanding the power of the subconscious mind. And I started practicing on my friends and family and seeing, oh, bloody hell, this is amazing. And then a lady called Marissa Peer dropped into my world of social media, who's the creator of rapid transformational therapy. And that's pretty much what I do with my clients, which is that regressing them back. And then what she's done is taken all the best bits from all the therapy world, including hypnosis, CBT, psychodynamic, everything. But she worked on what she got real results from. And then she created this process, and that's the process I use. But after doing that, I carried on doing more training. So I'm in a group called the Rise and Shine Academy now, which is for therapists and hypnotherapists. And I'm learning more detailed treatments around hypnotherapy, but also learning new tools and techniques as well. So that's where I integrate the therapy and the coaching by giving them tools like listen to the words you're using, giving them breathing techniques, giving them different ways that they can release out of their body, and doing the embodiment side of things. So I was doing that and working full time still, building up my client base. And then, of course, you become a business owner. So then I invested in business coaching as well. So I've got business coaching, therapy coaching, working full time, seeing clients. Then I also have to be a social media guru that I was never didn't have a clue before. I went from just a basic, my own personal Facebook and LinkedIn for getting jobs. And now I've got all of those in business, and I've also got a YouTube channel now. So they're all under Milliside Therapy and Coaching. And once a week, I normally do an Instagram live. So I get either my clients to come on and do a conversation, or I get other individuals. And the whole theme is about being unstoppable. So this year is I'm coming towards the end now of my first year. So January 2023, I was all in on my business. So it's been a journey and a half, because I'm transitioning from being institutionalized to doing my own business and, getting the clients, which at times can be difficult, but I know what I'm doing is right. I know I'm on the right track. And through therapy and that myself, I know that I'm feeling safe. I know I'm good enough, and I'm trusting the universe and that it will provide for me. So I'm living the dream, but sometimes it can be really, really difficult. And then in May this year, I lost my beautiful Great Dane dog, who devastated all of us, but he was my therapy dog as well. He invited himself one day when I started doing the therapy, and so I felt, it's been a difficult but amazing year, although it's not finished yet. But I'm so glad I made that decision, because now I'm doing something that I absolutely love, and I know I can make a difference, and I can make it really quickly as well. And that's what I love about it. One wish for me right at this moment in time would be to really grow my business so that I know I've got clients and money in abundance, because it's early doors. I'm totally realistic of the fact that businesses take a while to build. But yeah, to really be able to know that I'm doing really, really well, and I'm changing more and more people's lives. I think networking events are really, really important for many reasons. One of them is obviously that you can meet like-minded people, right? So if you're in, like, your networking group, for example, is full of female entrepreneurs, right? So we've all got different businesses, but we've all got the same aim, that we want to be successful in what we're doing. So being around like-minded people is phenomenal. Secondly, you don't know who you can collaborate or work with in those groups as well. So I've made a lot of friendships I've got quite a lot of communities actually. So I've got my therapy coaching group, and I've got some phenomenal friends in there, and we help each other all the time to, how do you do that? Well, how do you charge? How do you do this? And all that kind of thing. I'm also in another business networking group, which I love, because again, I'm with like-minded people. But in that group, there's so many different types of men, women, different businesses that I can actually collaborate with, or a lot of them actually have become my clients. So you can get your business from them as well. And I've recently, there's another networking group called UK Hub, which currently is based in Essex. But I last week presented, I've done a 45-minute speaking opportunity at their event, which I talked about the power of the imagination and how we use our mind, for the negative things all the time, and let's use it for the good. And out of that, they've asked me to do regular webinars for them and do other content to put on their members portal and things like that. So just by putting yourself out there every now and again, you just don't know what the knock-on effect's going to be. So I would say anyone out there who is an entrepreneur or business owner or thinking about doing that, get yourself out there, because you and the other good thing about it actually is when you start talking to other people, you start to learn how to sell yourself. When you're just stuck indoors all the time, just not talking really to anyone, it's difficult to really get that message out there. So the more you say it, the more you're in your business and talking about it, you'll get to love it even more, and get that response back from other people as well. So I think absolutely incredibly important, and we should all be doing it. So thank you so much for setting up your wonderful group, Eve. Pearls of wisdom, I would say starting a business from scratch isn't easy, right? Because how would you know how to do it if you've never done it before? So my biggest tip is to go invest in your self-development, right? Whether that is going and getting a business coach to help you, whether it's investing in your self-development, like I did as well, to uncover all your limiting beliefs that are holding you back, or both if you can, because then you're getting the best of both worlds. Without investing in myself, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in right now, because I wouldn't have had the mindset for it, for one, and I wouldn't have a clue where to start. And then when you don't know what you're doing, then that's when all the procrastination, self-sabotage, and oh my God, I can't do this, all falls into play, because it's overwhelming, and it is. But remember that when we're changing and doing something different, it does feel uncomfortable, but that's good, because that means you're stepping outside your comfort zone and you're actually doing something different. Because if we don't get that feeling and we don't change, you're not going to get anywhere. And you get what you put in life, don't you? So if you don't put any effort in, then don't expect to get anything back. So yeah, invest in yourself, and be serious about it. Don't just muck about, just go with it. But don't go quitting your job. You need to do it along the side first, because whether we like it or not, it takes a while to build these things and get the momentum. And if you hate your job, but you want to start your own business, then change your mindset around your job, because that's what I had to do. I didn't want to go back to work, but I knew I had to, because I needed the money, right? But as soon as I had the mindset of, do you know what? I'm going to do that job because that's going to fund my training, and that's going to allow me to build my business so that I'm building it sustainably, and it's not going to be a fly-by-night thing. And then yeah, it is hard because you're managing it all, but you know it's flicking that mind so that you're using it for the right reason. To nominate a lady called Angela Wood, and she's Angela Wood Wellbeing is her company name. And she, I know her through my networking group of the business side of things, and she's been to your networking event as well. And she does massages, she does Reiki, she does all the holistic side, and her thing is about reducing pain the natural way. Now, I have actually had massages from her. She's absolutely amazing. But when I was saying about my Great Dane dog, when he was ill, she just came round and she just did Reiki on him for me, just from the kindness of her heart. So she's a really, really lovely lady. She's similar as me in terms of she's building her business right now. She's doing well, but she needs more clients and to get herself out there as well. So Angela Wood of Angela Wood Wellbeing. If anyone's interested in finding out more about how I can help you to become unstoppable, potentially in 30 days, then please click on the link that Eve will provide and book a free call, and we can have a look and see what areas of your life that we need to look at and see if we can work together. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you very much.